Grandma never pitied herself. In fact, she always told me she was grateful for her struggle.
Well, that's just it. What she endured, that gave her hope, right?
Yes, in fact, she used to tell me that, first-generation immigrants work some, menial job. They drive cabs, they deliver food. Second generation, they go to good schools, and they become, a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. And the third generation lives in their mother's basement and smokes pot all day. I mean...
She said that?
I think she was, just speaking generally about, the immigrant experience.
I lived in my mom's basement.
She was just talking about immigrants.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah. I got to pee. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll get that. Don't worry. Pee time.
Hello there. Have you fallen into an open manhole recently? Do you find yourself in the company of strangers? Well, then you might very well be in the feature Underground. Word on the street is my name is Hunter Lanier, and I come bringing with me once again a brand new movie review, this time of A Real Pain, written, directed, and starring Jesse Eisenberg, opposite Kieran Culkin. A Real Pain is a great example of a movie that I hear through the grapevine is really good. Then I see it, and I both don't like it and understand why people do. But let's start with the positives. I like a lot of the foundational ideas in this movie. Eisenberg and Culkin play cousins who come together following the death of their beloved grandma to take a guided tour of Poland, which is where she grew up, before being driven out by the Nazis. Eisenberg and Culkin both represent a different type of unhappiness in the modern man. Eisenberg has a wife, kids, a steady job, but the steady job is boring, it's a dead-end job, and it leaves him with no discernible purpose in life other than collecting a paycheck to support his family. He's checked all the boxes that they tell you you're supposed to check off in order to be happy and successful, and yet he quietly suffers from the underlying knowledge that he's unexceptional, risk-averse, and not reaching his full potential. He's a great example of the old Thoreau line, most men live lives of quiet desperation. His cousin, played by Kieran Culkin, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. But he's a good reminder that the opposite of a bad thing isn't usually a good thing. The opposite of a bad thing is an equal but opposite bad thing. Culkin's character is uninhibited, he's unattached, and he's free from the chains of a 9-to-5 life. He's not kissing any boss's ass, he's not pretending to like his coworkers, he's not saying good morning to the same person every single day. And his extroverted personality automatically makes him the most exciting person in most rooms by default. But he spent most of his adult life wasting time smoking pot in his mom's basement. He has no work prospects, he has no family prospects. He's the type of person that I just recently coined this term. He is a basement bohemian. And by that I mean he's a free spirit, but only within a 50-mile radius of his childhood home. Although both Eisenberg and Culkin's character are suffering in their own way, Eisenberg has learned to accept it while Culkin is lashing out against it. To add yet another layer of suffering to their dynamic, it's set against their grandmother's history of escaping the Nazis in Poland as a small girl. It's set against the plight of the Polish Jews, and it's set against the Holocaust at large. And, naturally, that sets a pretty stark contrast against their comparatively small, some might say, first world problems. But even with that contrast, the problems to them still feel overbearing on an individual level. So as you can tell, this movie sets up a pretty interesting diorama of suffering and hardship. There's even a good line in the movie where Eisenberg's character is quoting his grandmother. saying that first-generation immigrants in America tend to have working class jobs, taxi drivers, dock workers, and then second-generation immigrants, they have more opportunities, they're able to attend college, they become doctors, lawyers, and then third-generation immigrants end up smoking pot in their mom's basement. So all that stuff is great. But excuse me while I whip out this advertisement for likes, comments, and subscriptions. All three help the channel grow and spread independent film criticism rooted in good faith ideas and film literacy. Based on previous videos, it seems like likes and dislikes are analogous to agreeing or disagreeing with my opinion, but I really want likes and dislikes to come from whether or not I live up to the standards of providing interesting, good faith reviews. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. Where the movie fails, in my opinion, is in the moment-to-moment writing. You can tell the screenplay is written by an actor. Every scene is the biggest possible version of that scene. It herds your emotions to and fro with very little cunning. If you've ever watched audio levels go up and down, when they get into the red, it means the audio is clipping and will be distorted. When a script is overwritten, when a story is overwritten, you have, let's call it narrative clipping, where certain scenes or certain exchanges or certain lines of dialogue, they hit that red. And this movie has a lot of narrative clipping. As an example, there's a scene early in the movie where Culkin's character gets everyone in the guided tour, almost everyone, to take a silly picture with him. And it's the movie very clumsily trying to get you to fall in love with the Culkin character. For most people, and the audience I saw it with, I think this scene probably works for them. For me, it did not. I found the whole thing overreaching and hokey. There's also a big scene at a dinner where Eisenberg's character just flat out says all of his emotions in very plain language, undercutting the audience's satisfaction of discovering these truths on their own. And then, for good measure, he awkwardly throws out this important character detail just to drive the movie's point further into the ground. I should also say I didn't find this movie to be very funny. Its style of comedy, to me, is one of the most low effort, in that it essentially boils down to Culkin mumbling the quiet part out loud and being the most focus-tested version of inappropriate. I do think Culkin is a very good actor, and he has great moments in this movie, but he is very much still working that Roman Roy muscle. Just in this case with less tactful characterization. No spoilers, but there is an extended scene toward the end that involves a language barrier that's meant to be an emotional scene with a comedic slant, and it's so cliched on both fronts. And I think my general feelings on the movie can be summed up with that scene. So often, when a movie is referred to as having a film school quality, we're talking about the production value. A Real Pain has a film school quality, but regarding its screenplay. It's an overwritten comedy drama about two guys who go on a trip, who share heavy emotions while smoking pot on a European roof. I guarantee you, if you visit your local film school, you will find some variation of this story in every classroom. But I seem to be in the minority on this one. A lot of people seem to like this movie, so go check out some other reviews, compare notes with mine. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on my thoughts. Once you see the movie, or if you've already seen it, let me know what you think. As always, I invite thoughtful disagreements, and I'm always eager to see a movie from a different perspective, especially if that perspective can paint a more flattering picture of the movie. While I wasn't a big fan of Heretic, there actually was a comment in my review that made me rethink the ending in a more positive light. So let that be proof that your comments can change my mind. I am open-minded. Next up, I will be seeing The Brutalist on the 16th. I believe the embargo for that one has lifted, so I will have that one out sometime next week. Until then, I kindly ask you to remember that every day underground is a good day.
Look at this shit. We'd probably live here if the war didn't happen. Isn't that fucking crazy to think about? Seriously, like, we think of ourselves as these like very American creations, you know? And I guess that we are. I guess that's like the essence of America. People created from other cultures. But like, in some parallel black hole universe, you and I are Polish and we probably got like long beards and we can't shake hands with women.
Yeah, that's funny. You know, every time I see like one of those Hasidic guys on the street, I always just think like, there, but for the grace of no God, go I, you know?
What?
Oh, nothing. It's just like a dumb joke.
Oh, that's cool, man. Shit, look at her.
Who?
That woman, Marcia. She's walking alone. We should go talk to her.
We just met her.
Yeah, but she's got this, like, deep sadness behind her eyes, you know?
She does?
Yeah, you didn't notice that?
During the introductions? No.
I think we should check on her.
Benji, maybe she wants to be alone.
No one wants to be alone, Dave. Okay, I'm gonna check it out. Hey, why are you walking alone? Are you a big fucking loser?
Seriously?
Yeah, you're like an interesting...
Sorry.